Hello, and welcome back to the Career Advice You Never Had podcast, where I provide you the career advice, education, and support you missed out on in your career journey. I'm your host, Angela, and today we are going to look into connecting the dots. In episode 5, we discovered more about our internal career. Today, we will explore our external career, which are the action steps we've taken along our career journey. With each step, there may have been questions, a choice, or maybe not, and a decision made. Our external career is also expressed through words, the story we tell, and our point of view on how our internal career is experienced in the real world. We'll be using the power of hindsight to look back and understand that unique journey. You may be wondering, why look back? I want to take steps forward. I don't have time for this. There's many sayings. Sometimes we can't move forward until we look back, or about reflection, looking back so the view is even clearer looking forwards, and capture the past before we get ahead of ourselves in the future. It's when we are curious about ourselves, we look into who we are, and we find clues from the past that can be another piece to your puzzle. My hope is that from looking back, you experience moments of clarity where you connect the dots and say, I get it now. As everything comes together, it helps you make clear, confident decisions for the future. So let's get into it. We all get to a point in our career where we ask ourselves questions. Who am I now? Am I in the right career? What's next? Where do I go from here? Maybe you're feeling something isn't quite right. I want to make it clear it is all very normal. Some people call it reinvention, making a change, discovering what we really want, finding meaning, passion, this next chapter, or it could be described as a career crisis. Whatever we call it, this is an opportunity to take time to reassess and get clear on what you really want to be doing more of, and to reorientate ourselves to take those steps towards it. This podcast will show you how to do this bit by bit. It may not be an overnight journey for some people. It may take 6, 12 months, or even a few years, depending on how much time and effort this transition needs. Today is all about looking back, to rediscover forgotten parts of ourselves, to reflect on the self-concept, the internal career that we've built upon through each and every real-world experience we've had. This will help us to reaffirm our career story, who we are, how we want to express ourselves through the work we do, and where we want to head in the future. It's all about reflecting, pausing, taking the time to consider the journey that we've been on. When we get clear on these steps, they will give you an anchor point to help you answer that good old question. So tell me about yourself. The answer will come easier the more you get to know yourself. By looking back, you'll be able to step outside of your current thoughts, feelings, and help you see the bigger picture and broader perspective of your life. It will also help you to uncover opportunities for growth and development, to find meaning, to organize those swirling thoughts, re-establish your identity, and gain a sense of purpose. Only you know your life intimately, the skills you've built, the knowledge you've gained, and the experiences you've had. You're the only one who can interpret what all of this means, to make sense of it and tell your story in your words, from your voice. The words used to tell your story may change depending on who you're speaking to, your mood, and where you are in your career journey, and even the chapter of your life. Sometimes we need to dig into our story to find those patterns, those themes, to know what has shaped our journey and what we can learn from it, and also what resonates with us now. Knowing your story can help you begin to heal old wounds and find acceptance from past hurts. Thinking about our career is one thing. Telling the story of our career is another, as it forces us to articulate and make sense of it. Seeing our story written or drawn helps us to see patterns, and this is where we can connect the dots. By now, hopefully you know more about your talents, your motives, your strengths, your skills, what you enjoy, what you value. This is all intertwined within our story. Let's begin to untangle and unravel this internal knowledge through the journey that you've been on. This will involve self-discovery, a bit of internal reflection, and self-coaching. And if this does make you feel uncomfortable, please reach out and we can do this together in a career counseling session. When we look at our external career and the actual choices that we've made, you'll be quite surprised to see what you have done and you have achieved. To understand your career story, I loved using a tool called Your Career Lifeline. The Career Lifeline is an adaptive version of Pamela Brott's Lifeline. It's a useful technique to help us reflect on experiences, the highs and the lows, to find key events that have also influenced our career. It helps give shape to the past, and rather seeing it as a confusing jumble of events and experiences, it can be that first step towards considering the future and moving forward. It helps us to gain insight and influences over those career decisions. It involves writing your journey briefly, making it visual as you retrace your steps, and give shapes to the journey as you map it out. You will start to open up to the reasons why you chose a particular job over another, the industry you moved into, or maybe decided not to head into. You will uncover past ambitions, what initiated them, and how they've changed. The reasons why you stayed in an organization and maybe left others, and things that you did enjoy and didn't. You'll begin to see those patterns emerging, and sometimes this reflection is needed to make sense of where you're headed. I have this image coming to mind I often use in presentations and in my book Career Crisis. There's these two cliff faces. The cliff on the left is dark, bare, scary, full of dark clouds and uncertainty. And this is where you may be now. On the right is an image of another cliff. It's bright, light, lush, green, inviting, and sparkling. And this is where we want to be and can be the person who we want to become. In the center of these two cliffs is a deep canyon, or that dark void where it's that unknown that we're facing. And the steps to get from the left to the right are really unclear. Mark Savaiakis talks about using our story to bridge that gap. The understanding of who we are, where we've been, where we'd like to get to, and who we'd like to become. Your Career Lifeline is a good starting point to bridge that gap. Everything else you do from here will be guided by this deep understanding, this foundation and anchor. Your resume, the way you answer interview questions, how you research online, the words you use to talk to people, and the story you tell will be really clear. Your Career Lifeline connects you back into your story, puts you at the very center of your career as you are the lead character in your story. The person we are today is different from the person who made the choices along the way. And let's look for that hindsight and reveal the context of your choices, the circumstances, all those past roles you've been in, and how that has changed over time. And let's illuminate all these possibilities for the future. As I explain the Career Lifeline in a moment, I'd love for you to notice and be really curious as you gather information about your past. You're going to open up space and time within your story as people, places, memories, past chapters of your life come to mind. You learn more about your beliefs, your feelings, your attitudes, and how they've been shaped. Be kind to yourself as you look back over expectations you've had and where you are today. You might find yourself pondering paths untraveled and imagining yourself making different decisions. Let's focus on these moments with kindness, understanding, and acceptance. We did the best we could at each moment. The focus of this activity is to identify different points of view that will really orientate us for the future. And as Pamela Brott calls it, sparkling moments where certain things come to light and we connect the dots. Let's look for these. So what is your career lifeline that I keep referring to? Let's create it. First, you'll need a bit of paper, and this can be any paper, an A4 size paper. I just need you to make 3 columns. It can also be done on technology. In the first column, we're going to create the heading Career Journey. The second column is any study, education, professional development, and the third is called Life Events. Begin with your first career experience. It could be something that was unpaid or paid. And this is going to go into the first column. Maybe it was your first job. Mine was at a fish and chip shop. I was 14 years old. Then, after this, what was your next career experience? And place that down underneath your first. Keep going as you unfold the story and retrace your steps through your career journey, your education. So the education may be high school, maybe courses, maybe any learning that you've done. Maybe you did finish things, maybe you didn't. All of these are really important steps you've taken. And the third column is also to do with those important life events. Maybe finishing school, maybe you didn't finish school, maybe you got married, maybe you went overseas, maybe you brought your first home, maybe you lost a loved one. And make sure these go down in each column. Do your best to order them as you go, and you may need to take breaks, reshuffle things around, rub things out, or cross things off. You may need to take breaks and do this over a series of sittings. As you start pouring out these experiences, notice the feelings and memories as they come and go. Once you feel that this is complete, so your 3 columns, go back over and order as best you can from A to Z as they happened in real life. This is going to help you with the next step when we actually plot it down on the Lifeline. The Lifeline, you will need to have a large bit of paper, A3 or sticky tape, some A4 bits of paper together. You'll need pens, texters, coloured pencils, a quiet space, and on the paper in front of you, so you've got your large sheet of paper, we're actually going to draw the Lifeline. So we've got a vertical line on the left. At the top, we're going to write the word high. At the bottom, we're going to write the word low. Halfway along this vertical line, we're going to draw a horizontal line across the page. And beginning with your first experience, the one that you labeled A, we're going to plot this quite close to that vertical line on the Lifeline. You can either place it as a high or a low or somewhere kind of neutral, depending on what comes to mind for you and that experience and how you interpret that experience in this moment. Go with your first thought. There's no wrong answer. Place each experience on your Lifeline, and when this is complete, we're going to draw a line connecting each one. Take a step back. This is your external career. These are the action steps you've taken along the way. Each one, there has been a decision made, a step forward. Notice where your journey has gone. What is the shape of your career Lifeline? What do you notice about your journey? Is there anything standing out for you? What have you learned about yourself? Can you see any patterns or themes emerging? Are there any pivotal moments? And you can highlight these in some way. Each and every step has been a gift. What are 3 things that you're grateful for in your journey? As you connect the dots, what you're also doing is giving yourself a chance to reconstruct your story moving forward and helping you understand your external career. Help you see future possibility directions with that clearer view. You may choose to do this activity or you may not. There are many ways to tell your career story. Whatever step you take, I hope you get to know your career story, what has shaped you into the person that you are today. I'd love to hear how you have connected any dots and gained clarity about moving forward. This is your story to tell, and it is so worth telling. I look forward to bringing you the next episode where myself and a guest host unpacks more about career direction and where to start. There are many people who haven't had the career advice they have needed along their journey, and I'm here to provide it. You will find the reflective questions in the show notes. Make sure you subscribe to this podcast so you never miss an episode, and share it with a friend who needs career inspiration. And together we'll navigate this journey as you find your way, rediscover yourself, and focus on taking the next meaningful step in your career.